All right, let's see here. Go ahead and show you guys the latest and greatest with TMG and how I'm farming it. So part of my decision going into the new year was I was not going to be swiping any longer in King's Raid for no reason other than the fact that there's other things I'd rather spend my money on than King's Raid. I spent a lot of money in it last year, and I feel like my account's pretty much where it needs to be in order to achieve all of my current goals, and anything I'm not able to achieve at the best possible potential. The game now is providing plenty of in-game upgrade potential without needing to spend a lot of money once you get to the level that I'm at. So that all being said, I'm taking a break here in 2021 from swiping here in KR. So I kind of had to maximize the way in which I'm using my stamina, the way I'm using my UTs, my soul weapon tickets, etc. Not quite as flippant with the use of them, and definitely not as experimental. So all that being said, I was grinding, 10 stages of TMG at once, for the better part of 2021 there at the end. And I had, what is that, 70 heroes all running simultaneously, 9 teams in dispatch, 3 on each stage. And, the artifacts were spreading thin, doing it that way. So I had 4 teams running stage 5, 1 team running stage 6, and then the rest were running between 4 and 1. So, and I just, got most of the TMG that I wanted at that point. I'm actually at a place now where I'm just log jammed with the stuff, where my storage box is full of TMG, and I've got almost 1,400 pieces here in inventory. So I am going to have to, at some point in the near future, go through and get rid of the extra pieces. But I haven't really felt the need to do that. I did go and do a slight purge, just got rid of anything that was a plus skill level. That probably relieved about 150 or so slots of inventory. But at the end of the day, I'm now doing 1 stage at a time in full auto. I try to do it with my guild since I can carry Team 6 even in duo on all of the different stages. Just so that way my guildmates are able to get more crystallized power and have a higher chance of getting reclaimed gear. So that is my recommendation. If you're a viewer on this channel and you need help getting the achievements or whatever, feel free to PM me as well in game, and request help for the carry if you're wanting to get those achievements, and I'm more than happy to do that, because again, the only place I'm really burning my stamina at this point is in cooperative battles in TMG. So that all being said, let me go ahead and show you my different comps for each of the different stages. Just a helpful hint, if you're not aware, I know a lot of you play this game and it crashes, even if you have modern hardware, when you're switching over to your various presets. So if you do it from this page right here, while you're in Orville from the hero page, rather than doing it from within the battle itself, the likelihood of it crashing is much, much slimmer. As you can see, even though I'm recording it did not crash. Whereas if I had done that from, say, within TMG, it would have definitely crashed. So I actually need to change the name of this. This is actually 666 now. And this would be what I'd use if I were going to be running all 3 stages of TMG simultaneously, stage 6, 2 dispatched, 1 on auto, or 3 dispatched and a 4th on auto. But quite frankly, and you know what, I'll just show you the individual ones, the speed run comps, because that is going to actually be better, because the artifacts are the best when I'm doing it this way, and the runs are a lot quicker. So like Ascalon clears in about 2 minutes or so, Siegfried about 60 seconds, and Galgoria clears in about 90. So why don't we start with Galgoria, actually? We'll start with Galgoria. I'll go through the team comp, why I did the team that I did, give you some alts, perhaps, if maybe you don't have the correct heroes. So we'll go over to Galgoria, and basically what we are trying to achieve here is high heal rate reduction. 220% is needed on stage 5 and 6. If you're doing stage 4 or below, you only need 160% heal rate reduction. So that's achieved primarily through Mora. She's achieving 120 of that on her own. F-Ray brings 20%, DLK brings 25%, Lori brings I think it's 30%, and then Talisha brings 50%. So I'm well over the cap. The nice thing about running DLK as opposed to Kirze here, which has similar clear times, is DLK brings it right out of the gate. You don't need to wait for Mora's stacks. So I've found that the clear times are definitely more consistently in the 80-second to 90-second range with DLK, whereas with Kirze it could be 90 seconds to a minute. 90 seconds to 100 seconds. So gearing wise, most of them are just in straight up Bach. I mean, these aren't even 5-star earrings for whatever reason, and I don't even have the maximum scroll value there. Talisha is the only hero I use in all 3 stages of TMG. So if you're going to invest in a TMG hero, she's the one to invest into. Doesn't matter whether you're physical, doesn't matter whether you're magic. She is super useful. She can function as a DPS, a sub DPS. She can function as a mana battery. She can function as a healer. She actually out heals F-Ray here in Galg. And she also buffs the hell out of the enemy. So, debuffs the hell out of the enemy for damage amplification. So just a really, really useful hero in all content. So that's Talisha there. Lorianne, she's just in straight up attack gear. So she's still running in whatever it's called, Dark Legion or whatever. And there's her setup right there. It's all about her poison, really, is what it all comes down to. You don't need to run any crit on her. You don't need to run any crit damage on her. This is just about amplifying her poison and keeping those stacks there and on the enemy, which is why this is the page that I have her set out on. Laudia, she just another good old DPS that's really great here. There's other DPSs that are also very good, but this is who I use. If you're going with a Fizz comp, standard comp for a Fizz team would be Loman, probably I'd say Pansy over CC, just because she brings that heal rate reduction, and CC takes a while to ramp up. And if you're going for fast clears, CC is just not the one to use. Pansy I found is better on the mechanic side. You can still use F-Ray. You can use original Frey as well. I like F-Ray. You can also even use Evan as well for a little bit more P damage amplification, but you're probably going to want to use DLK here if you're using F-Ray as a Fizz and get all the boosts that he is going to get from the other Fizz team members. As far as the assassin goes, I recommend Tanya. A lot of people say Gladdy. Gladdy's number one. He's an NPC, so he's a lot more to invest into. And Tanya not only brings 100% heal rate reduction, she also is bringing def reduction. And yeah, Gladdy does bring 50% P damage amp, but she also brings a 30% P damage amp. So between the heal rate reduction, the P damage amplification, and the def reduction, which Galg is able to be affected by that, unlike Sig, Tanya I've found is just a lot better here than Gladdy. As far as the wizard is concerned, ISO is the clear choice, and as far as the archer is concerned, I still use Talisha, even with the Fizz comp, but you can use Celine to great success here. I've even seen people using Yan, because she's got some team buffs as well. So there's quite a few good Fizz archers that you can use her, but I've just decided to use Talisha when I do a Fizz comp, but I prefer the magic comp. It's just faster and easier. So DLK, also Bach, and again, not a lot of maxed enchant lines on here. I kind of stopped investing in the Bach when TMG came out. So as I get the enchant scrolls every week, from the Dragon Forge and from the achievement, I just dump them into the Bach gear and get the lines up as I can. F-Ray, my strategy is to make her the high attack, right? You want her shield to be as strong as humanly possible. And she's, as long as she's right at about 1.5 million attack, which she's well over that with this gearing, the bubble's going to be fine. It's not going to break. So I actually stopped running Ab Crown, but a lot of you don't have the ability to get your bubble that big on F-Ray or Fray, which is another good meta pick here, in which case you would want to run Ab Crown, but I don't do that because I'm getting plenty of attack from things like Stuck Pump and all that stuff. I mean, this is basically Ab Crown for the whole team. So, and the fact that it makes a net tankier is great. So this is the team, and just because her attack scales over to the allies, I end up putting her on this. Attack speed cools her skills down. That helps to keep the additional crit chance up because he does reduce your crit chance by 500. That can be cleansed, so having F-Ray Shield doing the cleanse, having a net doing a cleanse does help, but at the end of the day, getting the crit up there north of 1,000 just helps to eliminate a lot of the RNG. So that's why I do this. Let me show you the added lines on this. Let's see your crit damage to allies, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that gives her some mana. So there you have it. So my supports are really the only ones in TMG, and my 4 DPSs, are all in Bach. So we're going to go ahead and do this run, and we'll just let it run in auto. My fastest clear time is about 75 seconds or so. My longest with this team is probably about 95 to 100 seconds. So, but it's a really clean comp, really clean, fast comp. I mean, look at that. Felicia's out healing F-Ray. It's nuts. She's so useful. So useful. So that one's a little bit on the longer front. DLK got locked out a couple of times right there in the beginning, so that's going to likely be the result. of his lower DPS. And Lori was cycling the poison pretty badly there. So it didn't have the 100% uptime that I'm accustomed to seeing. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a very clean comp. And let me go ahead and show you the Ascalon comp, or sorry, I'll show you the Siegfried comp. I use Laudia there as the primary DPS. I haven't seen any DPS higher than Laudia. So sometimes she'll peg 4 billion. Sometimes the lowest is usually 2, 1.9 to 2. But she definitely seems to have the highest DPS potential. It's really RNG, especially since her S3 cooldown is so random based on attack speed and whatnot. But clear times in this, fastest is about 55 seconds. Longest is about 75 seconds, depending on just RNG. So we'll go over to that, and I'll go ahead and show you Siegfried real quick and explain what's going on there mechanics wise. So it's all about block here. You want to block, block, block. Block reduces mana. I have Requena in here. You can use Talisha as well. The only reason I don't like using Talisha, I typically would use Talisha, but for the sake of this video, since Talisha is a high investment character, I'm going to do Requena. And Requena's great because she has that additional mana reduction, like right there and in her kit, even with very low investment, and you don't need to worry about it. Also, Ray Hartna, you can use Evan, you can use Ray. I like using Ray because of the S3 cooldown set that she's finally on. But Meta would probably be Evan, honestly. So don't use Ray unless you've got a full S3 cooldown kit on her and you've invested some into her medley sheet where she can provide that CC immunity. But at the end of the day, you know, the full S3 cooldown is really, really helpful here. And this is the same set that I actually use over in Ascalon. So there's the perks right there. I don't need to amplify P damage since my primary DPS is, of course, Laudia. But at the end of the day, Rhea works here. Here's Requena, and again, block, PDEF, lifesteal, you definitely want some. There's her perks, and Laudia, pretty much the same set that she's using over in Galg. There's hers, and this is really, really helpful here because this helps to keep her from getting mana locked, because if your mana is pegged right at the moment that the game determines to lock you out, then you're done. But with this, she's using that extra mana to cast it 3 times, and that helps to prevent lockout. The other one that you can use here as well instead of Annette is Audi. Audi is counterintuitive because you're thinking, wait, he gives tons of mana. The nice thing is, though, is he resets skills. So when he does that, even though he's pegging everyone's mana, he's enabling them to all fire off a skill before the lockout can occur. So it's very rare to have a lockout when you're running Audi, but he doesn't bring nearly as many P damage amps, or excuse me, Fizz amps, magic amps to the table as Annette. And Annette's CC immunity is also really, really handy here. So that's why I end up using her. Pris is all about cooling down Laudia, and she's got that S2 cooldown piece. Again, more block, and I use Lori here. You can also use Zera. You can use Kane. Kane provides CC immunity as well. If you're doing a Fizz comp, Kane's really, really great here. I'd say he's meta. But Lori's nice because of the attack reduction. So at the end of the day, that's why we use her here. She's not in a DPS role, but she works great. She's pretty much in tanky stuff here, so it's a lot different than the one you saw over in Galg, where it's all about attack and attack speed. There's still some of that with her runes, but at the end of the day, it's more about the amplification that she's providing. And then Taily. Now, Taily is critical to fast clears here because this is what you need in order to maximize your damage output against him. Now, if you can get this 100% up, guess what? You're going to be doing damage clearing a lot faster, which is why Rhea is really, really nice, especially with an Ascalon set that's providing cooldown. So Taily doesn't need a ton of investment. Just make her tanky as hell. Make sure you have this UT, and make sure that you have this perked, and you're good. That's it. So let's go ahead and run this real quick. I don't need to auto repeat it. I'm just going to do one of each for the sake of the video. And Reha does provide 25% damage reduction as well, so that's really nice here. So about 65 seconds or so, not my fastest. Her DPS was also a lot lower. Again, a lot of it depends on the RNG of the cycling with Pris and the cooldown and whether or not her attack speed is proccing the cooldown there on her weapon. And bear in mind, she's in Bach, so the fact that she can hit 4 billion DPS in Bach is maniacal. If she was actually in a full Ascalon, Galgoria TMG set, I'm sure she would be pegging 6 billion RNG wise, with her DPS. So Laudia is just maniacal here. Obviously, you can do Reheat and Rapine, and they're both very good as well. But the cooldown from Pris is just so handy, and all the amplification that comes with that. So I haven't seen anybody doing 4 to 5 billion DPS with a maxed out Rapine Reheat combo yet. I have with Laudia, and I'm able to do 4 in Bach. So I know Laudia seems to be, she has better mana management. Just the fact that she can cool her skills down herself, the fact that she's getting cooldown from Rhea, the fact that she's getting cooldown from Priscilla is so handy here. So that's why I like her. If you are still having trouble with mana lockout, you can of course use Book of the Mad, but the damage reduction that comes from Stuck Pump or Fantastic Hybrid Animals is great. So now we're going to go to Ascalon. And again, if you've invested in Talisha, use her over Requena. Requena doesn't even, she only gets 1 soul weapon activation, and sometimes the battles are so fast she doesn't even fire it off. Whereas with Talisha, you can actually get multiple soul weapon activations. In even the 60-second match, you usually can get 2. So don't forget about that. And now we are going to go ahead and do this. So now, as far as Ascalon is concerned, there's been a lot of debate regarding Fantastic Hybrid Animals versus Angry Pumpkinhead, and as far as the damage layer is concerned, she can peg at about 2 billion, 2.2 billion DPS with good RNG. That the non-hero enemies layer of damage seems to be better than the Stuck Pump, frankly. And the only time I've ever been able to achieve the 2.3 billion, 2 billion DPS is with FHA. When I've used the Stuck Pump, it's capped at about 2. So we'll go ahead and we'll use FHA. This battle at its quickest is about 2 minutes, at its longest is about 3. It's really down to the RNG of Kane and his S3 cycling. So Kane here is really handy, especially if you're a Fizz comp. And the damage buffs do apply to all of the mobs for the first 4 waves. So at the end of the day, don't be afraid to bring damage buffs. Ascalon himself will not receive any of them, even though they'll show up on him. He is not affected by damage buffs, but he is affected by Death Shred, which is why you see me using Tanya. Okay? So, big thing here too, it's all about tons and tons of mana. So, you definitely want to make sure that your team has loads of mana, and I will go through the comp here at the end of the video for this particular team, and you guys can see what I've done to achieve that. There's a lot of very good DPSs here. You can use RC, you can use Nyx, you can use Erze, but I don't feel like investing into any of them because I like Pansy. So, and I've already invested in her, and she works great. And I don't think I've seen anybody with a higher DPS than Pansy. So, and Talisha is your primary healer here. The only reason why Pansy's is as high as it is because of the line of lifesteal. That's 1 line of lifesteal, which is very useful here. But Talisha is your primary healer. Okay, so. And this is about as bad as I've seen it. I have a feeling it's because I have something perked wrong, or I changed perks up or something. Very slim chance that this will clear without Pansy. It could clear, but more likely than not, it will not clear without her. I should have checked my perks or whatever before I went into this battle. because I was switching my perk pages around to do World Boss earlier, and I think I screwed something up. Yeah, so Talisha and Tanya did the cleanup duty there. This does dispatch at 100% on stage 6. Pansy doesn't typically die, so I have a feeling that I screwed something up with the gearing there, which is why she went down as quick as she did. And her DPS just did not feel nearly as strong either. So, ooh, nice. I got a piece of gear. So let me go and figure out what the hell's going on there, and then we'll run it again. Just to, because the DPS again seemed particularly low as well. The big thing here is you want Kane to be immune to CC. That way he can phase his S3 in God form, or whatever it's called, God King form, without interruption. Okay, so he's right at 580, and then he's getting 420 from this. Boom, puts him at 1000 CC resist, so he can cast his S3 without interruption. His cycling was a bit off on that, but at the end of the day, S3 cooldown is really good here. And make sure you give him plenty of survivability. But let me see what's going on with Pansy here, because okay, so I think the issue is that I took this off and I put that on instead. But honestly, I feel like I had tested it where that was going to be okay. Yeah, and then you got your MP recovery. Is it this piece of gear here? Is that what's throwing it off? No, that's not it. You know, I think I had it on that. Is she at... Oh yeah, she's critting. So, that's what it is. Okay, so it went to this piece of gear. And it needs to be on this piece right here. No, that's not it. Drats, what the hell is going on here? Where did I screw up the gear? Did I take a rune off something? Did I swap something out? I feel like I screwed something up. It's been a bit since I ran Ascalon. That's not it. I'm going to go back to this. That's all solid. Why are you getting so much crit? Definitely want that lifesteal. Where in God's name did I screw up? I had like one that was crit and crit dam or something, like crit damage and attack. It's definitely not that one. Was it this? No, I wouldn't have done that. Maybe it was this one. Huh. think it was this one. I think I had it on this one. And I don't think I was using this rune page. Was it that rune page? Let me see here. 890. That closes it off. It may have been this rune page. As opposed to that. Nah, there's no way. Let me pause this and figure out where the gear went. Alright, there it is. I figured it out. I had switched over to the orb that had the crit and the mana recovery per second on it. But I didn't need that. This is the one here. That gives you that extra attack, that extra damage. This was correct. So it is a full set of 2595, but it's the one with pure attack, not the one with the crit and mana recovery per second. So let's go ahead and run this again. I don't think I have enough mana. No, we'll go ahead and do the 2 that I have left. Got those from feeding the pets, I think. Yeah, this definitely feels better. It's like, what the hell's going on here? Yeah. What now? Sorry about that. And there is a lot of RNG. I've actually had success running 6 people and ditching Tanya, because that way you're always going to get the CC immunity from Reha, the cooldown from Reha, which is really, really handy. So and as you can see, Tanya went down anyway, so she's not 100% critical to this comp, and it's better for Pansy to get the CD every time Rehaf fires it, since she's only giving it to 6 and not to 7. You know, so I can show you the run without Tanya. It seems counterintuitive. Why would you run without a 7th? But believe it or not, it can actually result in faster clears. So, not faster clears, more consistent clears, I should say. What are you doing, Taco Man? Come here. Come here, Taco. Oh, you won't come? Fine, Nacho, you come. Hi, baby boy. Come here. Come, Dad. Good boys. Good boys. Nacho Mans. That's the little guy here barking in the background. Hey, look at the camera. There you go, baby boys. Sweetie boys. And as you can see, the DPS is only a fraction lower, and since her buffs, the def reduction against Ascalon is really, really nice, but getting the CD on all your heroes that are critical to the comp is more important. So and I wish the CC immunity from Kayn wasn't quite so RNG. It's really annoying how he can cycle and just skip over S3 from God King, but most of the time he takes care of it. So like right there. So that would be the 6-man solution. If you have Gladdy, you can use him instead of Tanya. But honestly, I've found more consistent clears when I've run without Tanya. But if you're going to use a 7th because you just need that extra edge, Tanya is better than Gladdy, frankly, because of the def reduction. So unless you've just got him completely whaled and he's just doing a maniacal amount of DPS to close the gap for you. But I know a lot of you, if you've been watching my channel, have probably invested in Pansy. She still has loads of relevance and is still an incredible hero. She's amazing in Eclipse. She's amazing in PvP. She's amazing in Ascalon. She's amazing in Velk. She's amazing in World Boss 3. If you don't have an RC invested into World Boss 3, she is amazing in a lot of the challenges that come up, the challenge raids, and of course she's still amazing in Sky. So Pansy still has loads of use. I need to make sure I save this here, and but if you want to run a 7-man team, go ahead and run Tanya. That's my personal recommendation. So Reforged? No. Reforged in the shop, maybe? Come on. Please? Please? Damn. Anyway, so there you go. Those are my teams. We'll do one more for good measure. Let's see here. What do we want to run? Do another Siegfried run? No, we'll do another Galg run. How about that? I will do another Galg run here real quick. Oh, sweetie boys. I know, I'm excited about that. It's very exciting stuff. It's a load off your shoulders too, I bet.
Yeah. Well, it's all working towards our greater goals, so I'm happy about it. And quite frankly, we haven't come on so long, it's just nice to make a decision. And, you know, it was our last time in Maryland, and quite frankly, all of this promotion is happening in the world, is making it basically then. So it's kind of like I don't know what to do there.
Oh, right.
I don't miss Maryland. There's really nothing about Maryland I miss, you know. So, for the most part, I don't even miss the people. You know. I'm in March. I miss my family and I miss Aunt Sandy. Like that's basically.
Which it sounds like we could end up getting on Sandy down here.
Oh, and I'm so many times it's been yeah. Hey, Dad. Okay, yeah, they did text me and ask
Figured I'd do some manual for fun. But I lost good old Lorianne. I'm gonna go look at her gear real quick, see what's going on there. I know it's all DL, but
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna be using them long term, so as long as they, you know, mostly got it right, I'm not gonna complain. So I kind of feel like what happened today. Yeah, well, I kind of thought that, because typically it takes her 6 hours, and they got there Yeah, no, it was nice that they texted me and asked. And I was actually just about to call you too to figure out if they had actually, did they actually listen and clean your room? I wonder, because I was like, does she really understand English? Because she just got there explaining it, and then she walked out and said, okay, so do you want me to start in there, or do you want me to start down here? And it was like, did you not just hear me? But yeah, did they wait till you left and then go clean your room?
Well, there you go, folks. Try that. And we'll talk to y'all later.